Okay, good to go. All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Friday, February 11th, and it's 6:35, and I'm calling the Northborough Cultural Council meeting into session. So I need to read, we're having a remote meeting, so I need to read this first. This open meeting of Northborough Cultural Council is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, signed into law on June 16, 2021, in order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus. The town of Northborough has been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. All members of the Northborough Cultural Council are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows the Northborough Cultural Council to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along with the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation. Unless such participation is required by law, this meeting will not be featuring public comments. Okay, I'm out of breath. Shall we start? And the first one is the minutes of 125. You mean 22. I guess that would be my only correction. So January 25th, 2022 instead of 2021. Oh, you're on mute.
You mean the year? The year.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Do I have a first? Do I have a motion to accept these minutes?
Sure.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from January 25th, 2022.
Okay, and so Bick first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
I see Janine, and so we have a second, and I will roll call since we are all here, and for approval, Bick.
Yes.
And Suzanne? She said yes. I could read, I read lips.
She's waving yes.
And Lori?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and Janine?
Yes.
And Craig?
Yes.
Okay. So that's it. Next thing, treasurer's report. Is there anything to report? I don't have anything to follow up with you with regards to unclaimed
Okay.
grants yet.
Since our last meeting, we have paid the final two artists their commission for Go Outdoors. So that is all 7. Very exciting there. Additionally, I've had 1 grant for 2022 already come in. They had their activity in January. So we're already out of the gate with 2022. And same as last month, we still have 2 outstanding grants for 2021.
Okay, and that's on my list to follow up with them. Okay, and is anything else, or is it that simple? Oh, wow, that's great.
Short and sweet. Friday night.
Oh, okay, yep, all right. Next meeting. And I suggest we have it on the sooner side, so we can do planning. And we are now allowed to meet in person, so we can do this in person if people are available, if we need to do some planning. So with that, I will say that I'm confirming that I was able to book the large meeting room in the library for the evening of Thursday, March 17th. So for the, I'm jumping ahead, but for the grantee reception. And so I think we should be meeting another time or two before that. what, I know we're going to come into some more discussion, but what are schedules like? If we can have a to-do list and get going on that, then I'm suggesting that we meet maybe Thursday, the 24th. And if
Mhm.
we at least have one on the calendar and we find that we need to do another, then we do multiples. Will that work for people?
I would suggest 24th and the 10th, just to block it out. And then if we don't need the 10th and we're all working independently, then it's fine. We don't-
Okay. And same time, does 6:30 still work for everyone?
If possible, I would prefer 6.
Okay, I'm fine either way, so you guys need to tell me.
That's fine.
Fine. 6 is fine.
Yep, okay, 6 o'clock for the 24th and the 10th.
And we're meeting in the conference room at the town hall again.
That would,
That's the
if
plan.
people are able to do that, and if something happens, then we do remote. Okay. And the next item is, okay, ARPA updates. I don't have anything new. Jennifer Bruno, we've been missing each other. She's been doing conferences. The library was closed on Monday. There were heating issues. There were issues on Tuesday. So this has not been good. So I'm going to keep trying. But the Jennifer Bruno and ARPA, what was brought up on the Board of Selectmen meeting was that an initiative that the town has started, and because John Codere talked about it, that's the only, I don't know who's coordinating this. So it was John Codere, the town administrator, who talked about it. Be Well Northborough, a mental health initiative, and to have activities and things for the community to engage in. And our liaison, Ms. Hirsch, said that that art should be something that should be part of that. So I'm pushing for that too, because I think that is a really great idea. So I'm not sure what the funding is or what they have in mind, but Jennifer Bruno is my point person. And that's all I have for information with that regard. So I'm hoping I get some more quick turnaround on that. I don't have anything defined in terms of, is it just a few things? Is it year long? But I do know with ARPA funding, there's 2023 fiscal year and 2024 fiscal year. So are things going to be done all at once or spread out? These are part of my questions, and I'm trying to get us in there. Maybe there's financial help that we can receive from this or be part of. I'm not sure, but I think this fits hand in hand with what the Cultural Council is doing, and I would like to see it work in with a public art too. Yes, Vic.
So we had nominated a team of Suzanne, Janine, and Terry to follow up with this. And I know you're saying that you've made the calls, but the dollar amounts that we were thinking of, we said, well, number one, our public art campaign that we submitted to the MCC was denied, so we didn't get any money through that. So that's the perfect opportunity for us to, without any further work, is we have the amounts that we would ask for. And I'm afraid these kinds of things are first come, first serve. So we need to be a little bit more aggressive about reaching out to her, or even if she doesn't reply, but like email her everything and say, listen, we've got a clear plan on what we would do with the money. We're asking for whatever we ask for, 2,000, 3,000 or whatever, and just kind of get the ball rolling, because we've had the information, not just like, oh, I'm calling you, leaving a message and then wait for you to call back. And, she gets busy and doesn't really have the attention to what we need. Might as well just tell her exactly what we need, because we have the documents already done.
Oh,
So,
I really like that. I really like that. So if I can set, maybe this is more than just me going. So it's more than, more power to it. I don't know if,
Yeah.
Janine and Suzanne, we can set something up and, visit with Jen. I'll make the first pass. I wanted to talk with her. I didn't want to just send her an email, but
Right, I know.
that's what I'm
Or maybe
fighting
go,
on that.
go to the library if she's there and like hand her a colored document of what our public art plan is. You know, kind of like, here it
Mm.
is, so that she doesn't have to also have to print it out. And if she happens to be there, then you could review it with her. But I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a way
Yeah,
to.
if we can get in front of her, Vic, you're making wonderful points. If we can get in front of her, we can pitch the project. I can pitch the project. You can pitch the project. We can bring the materials we have on it. Visuals always help, and leave her a copy of it. I think that'd be.
I love it.
So if you just set it up, I'm pretty quickly can turn it. We have everything we need.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of printing it out. There's no work to be done, and we know the speech by heart. So, the
Yep.
pitch is in our heads. We have the pitch down.
Yep.
And if we want to add more money to it for the Culture Fest, do it all in one fell swoop, because we don't know how much the town is getting, so we might as well just ask for the maximum that we need and then see where it goes from there.
And that'd be awesome.
That's a really great idea. I like that better. I physically was at the library today, like, I'm gonna make this happen. And she's at a conference. So
She's very difficult to get a hold of. I don't know what to say. This is, I've had this problem with her before. She just doesn't respond. She
okay,
just doesn't respond.
that's why I went there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna keep trying.
keep trying.
I'm on this like white on rice. Lori.
I want to say that I submitted to MCC the grant proposal for the
Yes.
Summer Fall Festival, and I did include as our theme art and wellness for this year's festival. So if we want to add that to the town page,
I like that. Yep, it all works. Art and mental health and well-being and placemaking too. Just throw it in. It's a great salad. Love it. Okay, I'm keeping things going. Grantee reception planning. So the first team met, Janine, Suzanne, and myself. We didn't meet. We discussed, came up with an initial date, with another discussion with Vic, myself, and Janine. We discovered that timelines are too tight. I was not in on all of the when the last time when we were able to have a grantee reception in person, I was not involved in all of that, so I did not realize the number of things that need to be due. And Vic very clearly communicated and let me know the lengthy list. Selby has set up a really high bar and done an amazing job before. It looked so good and professional. If we can't hit everything because people can't show, we will do the best that we can. And so I think it was the right thing to move it out to the 17th. So I grabbed the date today, and that way getting the word out there. Now, what's the next step? I think some sort of invitation, copying what was done before, and not necessarily reinventing anything, but I'm happy to start getting the word out to at least the town administration, representatives, senators, whatever it is that we need to try and get some momentum on this and some visibility.
I didn't share the invite with everybody. I just sent it to you, Terry, just to see if that's what you were thinking. So
it's very nice.
It just takes off of Lori's work from the whole. And if it's too simple, I didn't use your work. I just used the same old format. I don't know. If that's good to go, good. I don't know if you want to show it to people or you want me to show it to
Oh.
people.
Yes, would you like to share since you are already put this together? I think you should.
Well, I'm borrowing
that.
other people's work, but anyway,
It looks really nice.
it's just simple. It's the same thing we did for a lot of other things because Terry had brought up the using the stuff we already have.
Branding.
But I don't know if you guys think that's too simple or if we should do.
No.
I have
it's
all of
perfect.
Janine's work I can use as well, but what do you guys want?
This is lovely.
I like this. Yeah, I like this a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the colors. I love
Yep.
the, I can easily just look at this and say, oh, if that's in Northborough,
Okay.
it's great.
Mhm.
It's-
Yeah, Lori's Townscape is amazing.
Yeah.
On that same note, these are the certificates of the past. I don't know if you guys can you see it or no?
It just says the reception.
Hang on a second. Let me just run these by you. You
Oh,
see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Very nice.
Do you guys want to use these again or do we want to do something different?
I think it's very
They're
nice.
lovely.
All right, good,
Well,
done.
I was gonna say something different.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
That's at all, but it's okay.
And I'd like to use the new schema and use
Yeah,
the
that's
new
what I was thinking.
schema and just redo
Oh.
these with the new schema, but I just wanted to make sure it's okay, and I can do that. I'll just use the townscape stuff and it's okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
perfect,
so.
beautiful.
Okay. I didn't know if there was an issue with, yeah. Okay. Laura, you okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you for
I'll-
doing it.
Yeah, put
Okay.
your artistic.
Well, I'm just
Yeah,
using the
yes.
elements that are already created by Lori. So I'm just reslicing existing elements. It's not, yeah. Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep,
So we'll
I-
go with this invite, even though it's just
Can you
Okay.
just move the cloud over?
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Okay.
Oh,
I just threw
Right
this
on the
together
border.
after Jeannie and we talked and I said I'd throw something together and
Yeah, it's perfect.
so okay. And Terry, they're emailing you if you look at the RSVP.
yep,
That's
perfect.
still good.
Mhm.
Okay, and the date's right and everything's good. Okay, then I'll move the cloud and resend it to you and you can start. Selby has all the email verbiage from previous years. Terry,
Okay.
if you can get that verbiage from her, because she wrote.
Yeah, it's all on the
Beautiful.
same shared drive that I shared with you.
Okay, so the email verbiage to include this invite, the 5x7 kind of formal, old-fashioned invite. And then should we begin posting?
Yeah, can before we go into the details, can I review the options with you first? Because we talked about a full plan or a skinny plan. That was the last conversation. So I think we need to vote on how we're moving forward before we dive into all the details, because we may not even go that way.
Okay.
I'm just
Sure.
saying, let's just take a quick step back. And
All right,
just
wonderful.
make sure everybody's on board with it, because last time Lori and I were not on board. Remember? So we
Mhm.
want to make sure we flesh that out and then we move forward.
Sounds good. That's good.
Okay, so if
I'm
I
gonna
may,
stop.
okay, thank you. If I may share.
I love this team. You guys rock.
So the little committee, okay, came up with three plans: a plan A, plan B, plan C. Plan A is our standard BAU full, everything as business as usual for the last 2 years. So we've got to invite the guest speakers, invite the grantees, invite performers. We have some ideas on who the performers might be that we might ask. We're going to do a series of newspaper announcements all over the place, putting together the slideshow. Part of the slideshow, it had embedded like a mini video show, collage of what we did this year, but we didn't do anything other than Apple Fest with all the COVID issues. So that piece of it can come out unless we want to just have pictures of some things with, scattered throughout the PowerPoint. Then, obviously it has the typical agendas, who are the guest speakers, and then several slides, bulletized format of like who all the grantee winners were. Okay, then then someone's going to put together a paragraph on what each grantee's initiative is about. Because if they don't come, then we've got to, have something to speak to. Then I got to do the brochure. So the audience members know, number one, they've got a list of all the grantee winners. They can take that away with them. But just the general agenda for the evening. The flyer that's looks kind of like your invitation, but something like that, or something simpler that usually gets posted around town, library, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere else, senior center, Craftworks, we had them in different places. Name tags, if we choose to do that. And then we had a nice podium banner that Suzanne would get printed. And then the certificates. We have certificates, and the center and representative sometimes also provide certificates. So that's a full flush, everything plan. The skinny plan is still at the library, but we don't have performers because we're going to do this quick and fast. It's just, guest speakers. We still have to do this regardless, because we should have announced the winners back in December when we accepted the 19 grantees. We did not do that. So we missed that opportunity entirely. My fault, I totally forgot about it. So we're gonna kill two birds with one stone. We're gonna say, here are the winners, and here, this is the grantee reception on this date. So it used to be two separate newspaper announcements. So now we just do it as one. Still have the PowerPoint, of course, and then we still got to do this because we're gonna talk to it at some point. Don't need brochures because it's gonna be quick. We don't want to waste our time. And we might want to, just if we want the public to attend, or, those other than the grantee winners, then we still need to do the flyer. Don't do the name tags, don't spend money on the banner, don't do the certificates, or do the certificates. So it's kind of optional. Maybe I'll just do this, right? And then the skinny plan is over Zoom. So we won't have performers. It's really tough. We could try, like maybe we weren't sure what folk tales from Asia was, whether, they would read a story or something, that could go well over Zoom, but we're not sure what works well. Still got to do this, and still got to do this, and that was just run, and then that's it. And then last time I think I was the person who spoke about each of the grantees initiative, but it can be part of the PowerPoint, and it just each slide I can have like two grantees and the bullet points or pictures and whatever of what they do, who they are. Something else that I was thinking that I don't have here, but another format is that we don't even invite the grantees. So this is like, really, that's kind of interesting. Why wouldn't you invite the grantees? But it's to have the guest speakers. So there are limited people. There's 2 or 3 people here, right? And us, and we would have it in a Q&A format. So we might say, Senator Eldridge, what do you think about, what are your thoughts on how the arts and music, can help us, through COVID times, blah, blah, blah. And then they would answer. So it's like an interview, like an Oprah Winfrey type of thing. And they would have the questions in advance, so it would go smoothly. And so we kind of talk about what our objectives are as a council. What are we doing here? Why do we do these things? And why do we have grantees? But we don't need to have all the grantees there talking about their thing and us talking about them. And then we let the slideshow run. It just read it. I mean, we can read it as it comes up, 2 seconds to, how you have a normal slideshow, you or not a slideshow, but as you advance each slide, you can verbalize what you're looking at, the bullets, so that's it. Kind of short and sweet. So thoughts about ABC?
Now you'd have D as well. D.
Okay, what's D? Is there a D?
Well, what you just described was totally different. So.
No, that was part of that. Is actually that is actually C.
Oh, okay, my apologies.
Except it didn't go with anything, so I didn't have it here. So I guess I should put it in here, like. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
The significant difference, Vic, though, is I thought for C, you said don't invite.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, or you can invite them, but you don't need to make them talk, because when they talk, it can take up time and that sort of thing. So the time saving is like it's all done in the PowerPoint. So let's put it that way.
Well, I guess we're saying invite them to come to the Zoom, but they have no speaking about their program.
Right.
Two separate items, coming and then speaking about their program.
Right.
I also want to add that when I spoke
Ability.
to somebody at the library today, that currently no food is allowed. Don't know if that will change, so that's not even going to be an item on there right now.
Yep, there's no food.
No food is allowed. What was the other one? NCAT. So I'm like 85% positive that Dana won't be available to help out that night. So what I'm suggesting is that I can keep running back and forth with the camera. And when I say run back and forth, what I'm thinking about is I can do wide shots, and then instead of doing like an hour-and-a-half video of our reception, just take pieces and sections and cut it down to something where people really want to watch. So it's more watchable and user-friendly instead of so much of the pauses or people getting up and sitting down. So it just requires me doing some editing and putting it together and setting it to music. And I can use the slides and incorporate that. And I think it'll look really nice. And that will be something that we can share to NCAT and create a link and share on all of our media outlets too. Suzanne.
So backing it up just one more level, is everybody's thought, but you know, before we get to A, B, C, or D, maybe just one or two, one being do it in person and two being do it virtually. Is there a feeling amongst the committee about, you know, going A? Because if we go A, then there's things to talk about. You know, we go level one, not A, plan A, but if we go to the left, there are things to talk about. And if we go virtual, there are things to talk about. Is there a strong feeling amongst the committee about which one, knowing that if there's a COVID explosion, if we had decided to go in person and there's a crazy, you know, new variant, we would back up. The virtual is always the backup plan. But putting that aside, if everything stays steady state, what is the desire of the committee?
So I'll go first and look for people to have some input here. I like the business as usual, plan A, if we can. Maybe I love the idea of the banner because I think we can recycle that at events if possible.
So you would prefer not
In
getting into
person.
the weeds, but
You like
you
that
prefer
in
in
person.
person. What about everybody else? Should we hear everybody and whether or not they think in person versus virtual? And then if we're in one camp or the other, we can talk about the details.
I'm all for in person.
Okay.
Am I muted? No. Okay.
My only preference is to do something that is less work. I don't care if it's in person or virtual.
Okay,
So
Really?
I'm a skinny of some type. So it can be a skinny in person or a skinny virtual, either one.
okay.
Your whole, if I can diverge, your whole new Oprah, I think you called it an Oprah format, requires it to be virtual. Is that correct? There's no in-person version of that.
I mean, we can incorporate that for sure. Instead of them speaking for 5 minutes or whatever, we could have this format, right? Maybe I move it up so it's easier.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
That
Lori,
could be an
Craig,
option.
what do you think?
So I'm just trying to contextualize this again. My thought, the objective for the whole activity is one, to celebrate the arts and the opportunity to evangelize culture. I think all four of those scenarios can do that. The second is to celebrate the artists. And I think in terms of getting their participation, as busy as people are, making this easy for them to participate, very subjective. I feel like we could potentially have more participation on a Zoom. I may be wrong there. So I'm really on the fence. Sorry.
Interesting.
Lori, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the Zoom idea. At the same time, it's not a reception without food in person. So I don't know if we can frame it somehow else. And what's the purpose of it if for us to meet to celebrate the artist, but it's not like, I mean, it is open to the public, but not many people show up from the town or from somewhere else. It's basically the artists themselves meeting each other and us. So it can be, yeah, so I would go anyway with a skinny plan where it's just us talking with them and them talking to each other and having like a discussion round table. I don't know, some sort of thing like that. I don't
So
know.
if I could put down here, so I heard Terry, Mrs. Beck. I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
what
I'm also with you there, Vic, on
Okay.
the
And I heard,
in person, but in
okay.
a shorter
And
format.
where do I put you, Craig and Suzanne?
Well, I love having the in-person reception, but if there's no food, I'm with Lori. It's not really a reception. So I didn't know that until obviously Terry had finished talking to them. I thought maybe in March things would be different. We could actually have an old-fashioned reception, but
Can we ask them on that? For example, could we bring bottled water, water or wrapped cookies? You know what I mean?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Excuse me. So I asked, and today she said it may change before then, so just ask. But I don't want to create craziness for us either. After listening to everybody, I'm feeling more comfortable with the skinny on the B because we're meeting. What I could do is kind of take a sort of like a doodle poll and call the offices to see if any of the representatives are available, or are things crazy now that everything's starting to open up, and is a Zoom a better idea? I feel it's important to have some sort of state representation. Is anybody else on board with me there? Because
Yeah, definitely. If you don't have this is the key here. This is what draws people. When you put out an invitation, you say, Senator and Representative such and such are coming.
I think that's key. If you can reach out to them Monday and find out if they'd come on these dates with COVID and with how they feel about it all and whether or not they're going in person. I think that's important because I love the in-person, but if people aren't going to become because of COVID, then I think virtual may be wiser to get the level of inclusion, participation. I hate it virtual, don't get me wrong, but if people don't participate.
What if when we invite the grantees, we give them an option to say, we know the date, it's going to be that date, but we say, can you make it to the library? Or, can you only do Zoom? That way we'll know exactly how many people are actually going to show up. And if everybody says 0, but everybody will say yes to Zoom, then it may change our plan. So we could still go forward with, preparing everything, because there are other things that, they're all redundant no matter what plan you have. We can still, work on the PowerPoint. We can still got to do this, still got to do that. You know what I mean? And then we just switch over to Zoom.
That's wise, especially emailing them this weekend and saying, here's our date. Are you comfortable? Some people still aren't comfortable, but so I I ran into some people today that were just like, no, I'm not going anywhere still. And you're just like,
Mhm.
Okay.
but also, and the guest speakers, Terry, whether or not the representatives can come. I think if we can reach out to them and talk to their people on Monday,
Yep.
Yeah.
would they come in Zoom if they can't come in? You know what I think
Yeah.
that's smart.
It's a great point.
There's two kinds of
It's a great
availability
point.
here. The first one is, are they available for the date? Because they're very busy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then can they come? Sometimes I want to say that they might actually come because this is an evening event. So their normal day, 9 to 5 activities are over with, and they kind of sort of somewhat enjoy coming for the
Refresh
evening.
the flesh. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're probably available to come in the evening. Whereas if you do Zoom, well, our Zoom would still be evening, right? We would do
It's
daytime.
the same time. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah,
But there's no commuting time involved in that. And
correct.
if their schedule is filling up because the perception is that the rules are going to be relaxed, then maybe they're booked up quickly. I
I
don't
think if we
know.
just take the action item to ask the grantees as we have, and then ask the speakers that we really do need to come, at least some of them. I think that will answer the question, very quickly on Monday or Tuesday or by Wednesday, what plan we go with.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
I just thought of something that one point of attraction could be for the participants, for the grantees. If we tell them that after the event, after the in-person event, we will offer them a social media kit to present on their social media channels, photos with the state senators,
Oh,
whoever the speakers
That's
coming, a
interesting.
short
That's nice.
video which they can post wherever, where they shake hands with someone to receive the
Certificate.
certificate, right?
That's
So put on
really,
music and something, and I think that will be attractive to them because everybody needs a lot
That's-
of content for their.
that's
Yeah,
really good.
if our reps can come in person, when you reach out to them, at least enough of them will come. I think that will be a draw for the grantees. That's a great idea, Lori.
It is really good.
But we
That's
have
a
to see if
strong
the
one.
reps are going to come.
So what
Yeah.
I'll do is I will call their offices myself,
Okay.
introduce myself, and just kind of getting a sense of what's happening, because I'm just out of touch with that. Still, so many gov meetings are just Zoom. So in-person stuff, I don't know how fast things are going to turn around. I'm excited about that. So I will call, I will ask, and I will also get in touch with Julianne Hirsch.
And you know what? Maybe we can do this as well, because this is the same thing. So instead of asking them to stand there and talk, we have like chairs in the front, like the Oprah Winfrey style. There are no nice chairs out there, but like have them sit in the front, and you do like an interview, like asking them back and forth, kind of casual, but talking like everybody. Let's kind of socialize what issues we've been facing here. So that is different. I'm just saying, because we've done 2 years exactly identical, right? So it's like stand up, speaker, slideshow, speaker, so if we can just make it a little bit different, and it doesn't have to be this, but I'm just saying in general, we can have a new format, a little somewhat new.
Keeping it fresh.
Fresh, yes.
I think we found our master of ceremonies.
We
Are
can
you gonna
have-
come up with
I love the idea of changing up the format and trying a new way to engage people. I think that's a great idea. I do think that different things are an option to us depending on in-person or virtual. So I think we need to drive by the people, the guest speakers coming or not. The State House, I think, is trying to open. It had been closed, so they don't even go to work in person, or they haven't yet.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I think it started, I was looking online a couple weeks ago, they said they still hadn't started in person yet.
Don't you think with the new with the open mass mandate relief that they're probably all back, or
It
back
wasn't
soon?
as of 2 weeks ago. We just need to look it up, because I just tried to look online. I didn't see it. So I was just trying to get a sense for it. So, but Terry, you can just find out in person whether or not they're comfortable coming or not, you know?
Yeah, and get a sense. I know I read online somewhere, and of course this could change again, but the state is looking to lift the mask mandate in the schools by the 28th of this month.
Right.
Will it happen? Will
28th,
things change
yeah.
in between? Unknown. So,
And it said the State House would definitely be open by the 31st of March, but it may already be planned to be in person. So I don't know. It's all speculation. So I love your concepts though. For you, Lori, your change of concepts, I think those are great.
I love this idea. Are
you going to create the questions?
Yeah.
Vic?
Yeah.
Lori, creating the questions?
I think we can. I think
we can work on it together. Yeah, but
yeah,
sure.
I think we should work on it together because I think there's a way to incorporate this Be Well Northborough idea. I think there's a way to incorporate the get outdoors concept, the public art, and the value of here we have individual creators, artists. They are participants, but the viewer is also a participant too, because you're walking by and taking it in and interpreting, and
That's
that
perfect.
is really strong.
Yeah, the viewer is a participant and the wellness of viewing it and participating. I think it goes hand in hand when we talk about and creating community with art. It goes back to community wellness.
You can go back to cave drawings.
So I think there's a lot of spin possibility here. So
are we going to
let's table, huh?
Are we going to open up the questions to the audience if this is a live? Are we going to have the audience have the option to come up with?
We are usually pretty tight for time when we do this because this part right here takes the longest. Especially if since they're there, then they should get up and talk about themselves. And some people don't know how to keep it to 3 minutes.
But there may be an
They'll
idea.
go on for like 10 minutes. So
I know, but there wasn't. There may be an idea, Janine, to draw on your concept. We could say as a way to draw people to say, if you email us ahead of time, the question will be submitted to our representatives, but you have to email it beforehand, because in that way we'll get all the people that just want to stand up and, pontificate at the last minute. I think that would be a great way to draw people in, knowing they can ask them if they've planned ahead. And of course, if they're crazy questions, we'll politely decline. But
and that way, I think you can get rid of redundancy.
And also control the number. We can just say, we're not accepting new questions. We've already accepted the max allowed for time.
Yep. And I think this is important because the artists will feel that they're being validated. Hey, I'm being recognized. Hey, this is a discussion about what I do, and whether it's a full-time job or not, it could become inspiring to someone else. I think this is a really good idea. So I think you can move my name over to the Plan B column. If we are able to meet, if we have a banner of some sort anyway with a new logo, we can put that.
I'll do that. It can be reused. Yeah, I'll make sure that happens. And it's $30. It's really nothing.
So this invitation here, I know you're going to call them. That's the first thing, but then we follow up with the actual invitation and the verbiage on that. So that's got to be done. We have the templates for that. This one needs somebody to do the same thing before the grantees and some for the performers. We should talk through who might be good performers and ask them, because if all three of them say no, do you go to the next set of three? And not that we want 3, but we were just asking 3. We maybe 1 or 2 was fine.
Yeah, maybe it's 1 or 2, or maybe what translates good in case it goes to Zoom, or what translates to being in person. I think some of those just wouldn't work on Zoom as well as they would in person.
I think this is awesome if we're all sitting in the audience and she's teaching us how to dance while we're in our chair. Right? So.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's supposed to be fun.
I have a thought that if we did the format via with the interviewing and the questions and the engagement with Art and Northborough and and the public, that we would maybe, I'm going to propose that maybe we would not have a performer, that our time would be spent on that.
Ooh.
If we don't
And-
want
and
to
that's-
do
and
that new format, fine.
That's the
But
optional, yeah.
if we're going to do the original format, then a performer is good. But I think maybe we don't do a performer if we're doing the new format with the interactive questions and stuff from a time point of view. And then also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I
it
agree.
doesn't fit. Huh?
I
Yep.
agree.
How
Because it
long
can
is
get tight.
How long is this program? Oh, it's an
An
hour
hour
and a half.
half.
Hour and a half.
Yeah, I don't think we can.
Yeah.
I think we have to exchange one for the other. They're both
I
very
agree.
good. Okay. Does anybody disagree with that?
Uh, I don't have any sense of how long things have taken before, so
Full hour and a half.
Yeah,
well, I
and
know, but
we move it along. I mean, we snap on it just to get an hour and a half in there.
mhm.
I mean,
And you've had performers before, haven't you?
yeah,
Yes.
How many
but
have
we
you
haven't
had?
had this interactive
Yeah, right.
questions, and that can absorb the 15 minutes
Sure.
to 20 minutes that we had, usually 5 minutes to get up there, and at 15 minutes, that 20 minutes can be absorbed in Q&A and interactiveness in a heartbeat. I don't think we have time for both.
Uh-huh.
That's-
Actually, I agree.
It could get really disjointed or losing your flow trying to incorporate too many little things like that. I'm excited. I will call the different offices on Monday and get on that. Do you want me to send to the grantees to see if they can come via in person or Zoom? Is the idea to find out what the preference is within the idea that hopefully they can.
Well,
please
now
come?
now that we've come up with these other ideas, we may not. I don't know. I guess we could still ask, because what is the point of asking now? Because they may think of it as, oh, well, I can't come live, but I'll just get on the Zoom, and we may not even have the Zoom session, right? We can't do the Zoom
Right.
session from there. So
It won't
it's
be
not
one.
like
It won't
both.
be
Yeah, it's
both.
one or the other. So we're gonna make sure they understand that. But
So how
but
about if
we say
I'll
we
find
have
out
all
on
of this,
Monday
then
first?
it becomes a very good in person.
I think the long poll for this is to find out if our key speakers
Yeah.
will come.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what we
If
should
they're
start
not
with.
comfortable coming in person, that kind of
Right.
changes
Mhm.
the formula a whole bunch.
And this
Okay.
is a template invitation. We just need to add a sentence in there for, if this was if this was an available option, would you attend via Zoom? If you couldn't come. So not that it's like I can't be there, but I'll get on the Zoom. No, it's like this or
Right.
that. So we have to phrase it correctly so they understand
Mhm.
it's one or the other. I mean, like but that's kind of a lot. I mean, you could certainly could do it, Terry, but you got to look at the format. That's
I like it.
Awesome.
Is this document available?
I can. I'll push it out. But these little X's are like, I'd like to assign things to people. That way we're not meeting in 2 weeks, so we should all be running with whatever we're assigned with. Like if we're not gonna have performers, then no issue. Otherwise, somebody would have to call. So who's gonna do the grantee invitations as well? Was it you?
I can.
I already
You got too many
made-
things to do.
No, I mean, I've made them already, and I already have
Oh.
the brochure. Vic, I already have a
Oh, you-
brochure. Not the NCC brochure. I already have a, whatever, grantee
evening.
brochure.
Yeah, you did that
Um,
already? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same one I've made for past 3
Did
years.
you already include the list of grantee winners? Do you want me to add that?
No, I have a program.
That's
I
what
have
I
I do a word merge. I sent up
Okay.
anyway. Don't worry on the certificates, and
Okay.
it generates it or whatever. Don't
Okay.
it's fine.
And this is the flyer invitation that we just, the public invitation. There's the one we just saw from you, right?
Yeah, you know what, Lori, whatever you want to change, but Yeah, and then it's 5 by 7. It can be 8 by 10, and I mean, you can print it out however you want to print it out.
But this
Lori
invitation
can
is
change
not,
it around if she wants to too, huh?
this,
It's already.
this is not the invitation you just brought up. It's not that. It's like a letter, dear, blah, 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 like congratulations. It's that
Yes.
whole thing.
That's
Yeah.
the thing that Selby has
Yes.
written and made that exists, but Terry, you just have to take and change the dates and who you are
So,
versus who Selby is.
Terry, between you and I, you do this first. Like, let's say you confirm all the guest speakers.
Yep.
And you work on that, and then when I have a chance, I'll work on this, and then whoever gets to it first, kind of thing. Okay, so we'll somewhere between you and I, we'll do the grantees together.
We'll be in
Because
touch.
Since I don't need to do the program, she's done this, you've done that. You just got to do the PowerPoint.
So I have a question. So on the grantee, the paragraph of the grantees initiative, I noticed when we were looking at Suzanne's the copy of the previous program, the PowerPoint, that it listed about one sentence of what each grantee is doing. So when I'm creating the paragraph, actually, I'll create it in 2 or 3 different ways. I can create the regular paragraph. I can have a single sentence, and I can have a few sentences, because it looks like things are, I don't know how you're going to be setting up the PowerPoint, Suzanne. I don't know what you really need, from me for what each grantee does.
So if you just write it like someone's going to say it, if you're writing the script,
Sure.
I just pull junk out the script. So you don't have to
Okay.
rewrite the script twice. What I've always done is Sylvie wrote a script, or Craig wrote it one year. They write a script. I take the script and I just string out some stuff, whatever, you know what I mean? I just grab a sentence here or two.
All right. So you don't want me to do that for you?
Well, I don't.
Yeah, I guess that you understand. So Janine, if you
Sure,
write
if you want to.
if you write the 3 to 4 sentences, I like the one that is the most key sentence that she might.
Sure.
That's all I
Okay.
ever do.
All right.
Or I take 2 and I take the period out and put a comma. You know what I mean? It's
Sounds
not-
great. All right.
Okay.
So I have a question also on the PowerPoint. The who are they? Like the who won those folks. Are we including photographs of who they are, or just having their names? Or
Well,
have you ever had a photograph of who they are?
I've always included as much, I've tried to give them as much press as possible. I've tried to include video clips and pictures of each, like one page, because, obviously it runs on, to try to visually give the people in the audience. And I'll post all these. If there should all be pushed up already, but a visual of what they are. It can be a photograph of them doing their business, doing their thing. It could be.
Do we have those things?
I have them from previous years, and then I just go out and grab it. So I'll give you an example. Birds Across New England. Well, the lovely gentleman, John. I'm sorry, excuse me if I can't remember. John Root. And he posts his videos of him at Whitmore Place or down the street, and I just screen capture it, and he's talking, and there's a screenshot of him with the birds in the background and the senior citizens, and I just capture the screen, and that's the picture I show. I do things like that. I try to make it look like I'm advertising their stuff.
So you're taking it from their websites or their Facebook pages, or?
We've always asked them to supply us with stuff. We've written them a letter and say, please provide us. Some do, some don't. If they don't, I go out and get junk stuff.
I see.
I prefer that they provide, because you want them.
Yeah, sure.
So Terry is part of when we invite and I think you'll see it in Sylvie's letter.
Yeah.
Is to send us, one slide worth of images or information that we can, share, or what's the right word?
Yeah.
Shareable
This is a
promotion.
Yeah.
Shareable self-promotion.
And it can be a short video clip, and I mean like 10 seconds, or and we'll put that in the invite, Terry Bick, a short video clip, any photos, any verbiage you want to promote your project to the greater community. And
And we
if
also
they-
invite them to bring their like flyers or posters, whatever, and we put them
right.
on the table in the back so people can pick up
Yes.
information.
Some people do. So if they send their stuff, I incorporate it. If they don't, I go out and get stuff myself. And that's what I've
Okay.
done for the past several years. So I'd like us to ask again, because we want them to promote themselves and I just facilitate it. But
So
I mean,
on
that's
this,
our job in a sense, right?
so this provide a media package, what's going into this? Again, if we're giving it to them for their social media later, is that kind of a thing
So-
going to go into their media package? What we're talking about right now?
So in the media package, I'm thinking we give them fresh material from the event.
Okay,
So there will be a picture with them next to our podium, which is nicely decorated by Suzanne. Suzanne, maybe you should consider that when you design it so that it is visible in a photo with a person standing right next to it, like the
Mhm.
text or whatever, you know.
I
And
love
I'm thinking a short video that they can post. We can do all the formats for them. One Instagram story format, one YouTube landscape, YouTube /Facebook.
So you're
Just
saying
with them, we
format
can cut
friendly?
from our video and do it just for them. You know, nice Northborough Cultural Council grantee. This is with somebody handing them the certificate and like super short, 1 minute or less than 1 minute.
And Lori, I can send you what I do for the presentation, and then maybe you can add your vision of this stuff to what I've already made. Okay, since
Okay.
I'll have the page that hopefully they sent me stuff, or I got it from the web because they didn't, and then maybe you can help add the other stuff as you see the vision. Is that okay?
Yeah, I can create the social media package.
Yeah, that'd be
From
great.
whatever we get from the event, and using your material as for text layovers and stuff like that.
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Since that
Mhm.
you have a good vision of what you think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I love this idea. This is awesome.
I really like this. This is, instead of business as usual, it's really, this is classy.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yeah,
different.
and this is a very different way to help them because if they can't get out there, how are they going to promote themselves and advertise? So
I
Yep.
think for the guest speakers, the format with the questions and answers is much more interesting for them as well,
Yeah.
because they'll be interacting with their constituents,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
makes them
Yeah.
more personal.
Mhm. And
A
then they
very-
can actually hear like what are you doing for us? Like,
Yeah.
we're struggling here. Like, what's your perspective on how you would support us? Yeah.
Or what do you see out there? What are other communities see out? What do you see when you talk to other reps or senators? And it would be nice to get some input. So I really like
I just
this.
came up with something. We could also ask the head of the MCC to provide us with an answer, right? Of to some whatever question we want. And we could read it out, or
Okay.
if they wouldn't mind videotaping them, like, Apple iPhone, right? And send
Yeah.
that to us and we can play it. And that kicks off our Q&A session.
Oh, that's a great idea. Ooh.
That's awesome.
Look at these ideas coming.
Yes, I'm making phone calls on Monday.
And Terry, they're going to want the senators or whoever you get. They're going to want copies of the video of them being
Great.
interviewed for their
Oh,
own
yeah.
social media.
Oh, yes.
Oh yes, they
Yeah.
always do. And pictures. They always want pictures.
Uh-huh.
When I have done shoots in Southborough or Northborough, I will ask, and then I will send it directly to their phone or to their whatever website they say, so
Mhm.
that they
Sure.
have something, and then they post it on their social media right
Yeah, yeah.
away, which
Yeah.
it's nice.
I think
I'm sorry. I've done the same when I photographed people. I just send it right to their office.
Yep.
So
But
And
I
they
think
love it.
what you guys, Lori, your thought and what you're talking about, the representatives really want to show up when this sort of stuff's going on,
right.
because they do not
Mhm.
want to be the one person who's not in the photo. And
Yeah.
that's normal if you're in a public, in a public position.
Mhm.
So I
Right,
think
right.
it can be a nice draw as well,
Right.
as a benefit,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you know, on a positive thing.
And this time we cannot forget to take a picture with them. Remember the first year they came, we were so excited. There were three or four of them, and we totally forgot to take a picture with them.
Oh, no.
But Southborough didn't forget. So we're like,
Now we have Janine on the job, so
I'll
there
take
will
it.
be
Southborough,
pictures.
yeah, we have a
Yes.
professional photographer to remind us. Yeah. Okay.
That-
Great.
This is good. We can do multiple shots and that way it becomes not just your normal people lined up or just
Actually.
more interesting.
Actually, we've gone to a full plan, haven't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we have.
Except we took out the performers, so.
Yeah, because we're gonna get this and
Took
that.
out the
Yeah.
performers.
So it sounds like a skinny bee.
No, it's a skinny A.
BAU.
It's a skinny
Well,
A.
we need to make sure they're going to show up in person. So
Right,
it's,
right,
it's
right.
all.
Right.
Before we do anything.
Right, but at least as a council together is what we're thinking.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And I'll let you guys know Monday where I am.
Okay. Sounds
All right.
great.
Let's
All
move
right,
on.
next item
What
on
else
the
do we need to
agenda.
do?
Mhm.
Okay, update on the doors. Anything, so I heard earlier that they're all picked up and some of them are done.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Two of them are
That's
done.
wonderful.
Yeah, so
Oh, beautiful.
coming along, and we're still waiting for our in-house people to begin, but no, it's all coming along. So
You got a whole month, Lori. What the hell?
yeah, we got a month.
Tomorrow, I was thinking if you guys are around, I'll come and get a door to start something.
I'm totally teasing, you know that. So
No, you're right.
Are all the doors being stored at your house? Who's storing the doors?
well, when they're complete, yes, because
Yes.
we have to do, for those people who did not do the outdoor varnish, the marine
Yes.
grade varnishing, that was one of the things we need to do. So, and
But
they
they're
would be
all at your
something-
house?
They
Are they all
will
at your house?
Not
they-
yet.
I'm sorry.
Well, they will be.
They will
only
be. Okay.
One
so
is there right
I gue-
now.
I guess what I'm saying is I'd like to get a picture of these doors before they're outside.
Oh, okay.
Just
Sure.
so if you're going to post them, with a blank background, so I can bring a backdrop that is white. What color are the doors? We even know? Oh, but either
All
white or blue or
different.
something like that, and
Yeah, I was-
photograph them at your house before they're outside on the
Oh,
property.
yes, they will all be at my house. They are
Okay.
not.
All
I
right.
was wondering
there's
if we
another-
should do a staggered social media teaser for the before the
Ooh.
installation.
Sure,
I
Like
think
post
starting
one
in March,
door.
that'd be nice. I think that'd be nice.
Craig.
Janine, jumping into, I'm not the creative one in this group, but if we have all 7 doors before we formally, put them out somewhere,
Yes.
the world is your oyster. We could stage a photo shoot anywhere.
Oh, wow. Even at my house.
Have truck can transport.
Okay.
So we
That's
could
okay.
put them with the Northborough aqueduct in the background. We could do all
Oh.
kinds of things.
Oh,
Nice.
wow. I never even
Yeah.
thought about that.
Hmm.
On maybe
Wow,
maybe
that
a
would be
teaser.
amazing.
Yeah.
Lori's idea,
Yeah.
just take, a little snippet of the door, not the whole door, but a
Yes.
teaser,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
pushing out, ahead of
Mhm.
time, teasers.
Yeah, come
Hmm.
find me in Northborough.
Well, I
Mhm.
don't mind coming to your house and doing the original thing that I said, having it a blank background with each door in front of it. Also for the artists themselves. It's
That
not just for
might
the
be really
social
nice.
media and to have it out there, but for the artists themselves, it'd be nice to have a decent photograph of their artwork.
What
That's-
if,
Sounds
I
really
mean,
nice.
did you want to just take picture of the doors only or the doors and the artist? And
No,
so
just the door.
Okay,
Just the door. Yeah.
we should get it with the artist though at some point. So
All right. Well,
maybe at our,
Opening
grand
and
opening,
yeah.
opening event.
maybe when they're installed, the
that's
artist can
nice,
stand
yeah.
next to their door. Yeah,
Yes.
that's great. But I think it's too complicated to try to get them at the same time as because I
Coordinated,
want
yeah.
to do like all the doors in a day. If I could do all the doors in a day, or how many doors we have? 3 and then 4 another day or something like that. And trying to get the artist at the same time. I don't feel like coordinating that.
Mhm, mhm.
For the backdrop photograph. blank backdrop photograph.
I
Yeah,
agree. This sounds like
Yeah.
a good plan.
and then
The
sure, then Lori
doors
can put them out on
and-
Facebook, little by little. If you want, if we have the person, the artist's bios by then, that they can be posted at the same time,
That would be
Mhm.
fun.
little by little.
Wow. And I want to offer, I know there were, Craig, in the recesses of my spongy mind right now. I recall that there were extra doors. If you would like to store them in my garage until we do whatever next thing, it's fine with me. So I recall you didn't have a lot of space going on there. So I'm just offering that out. Are we good to go on to the next item?
I wanted to ask, didn't you send out an email to us? There was a lady who asked about the door project. She wanted to be involved. Did we ever
Oh.
answer her?
Oh,
I
no.
did.
Yeah.
I did. I said what was going on, and
That she's too late, right?
she wasn't asking to part. She wanted to know how
Oh.
she could help. Was
Oh, volunteer.
No.
and
Oh, okay.
so
I read it wrong. I thought she wanted to be a part of.
yeah, it was participate, but it wasn't an ask to do a door. And what I emailed back was a message that at some point we're going to need help on maybe determining where to go or asking, can we put one up on the common? Can we put, here, there, wherever.
So we
that
should
lands us.
reach out to her again. Maybe we can talk ourselves before we talk to her. But I think that's a good, yeah. But she was not an artist. We originally
Okay.
read that wrong. She was not an artist, Vic, because I was like,
Okay.
no, the train
Right,
left
right,
on that
yes, yes.
show. But she
Mhm.
was a helper.
Maybe she would volunteer for the culture fest or something else.
Right.
You know.
So what, how it strikes me is, I was trying to, the timing of her email and how she heard about it. I want to say it had to do with Julianne Hirsch speaking at the select board meeting, and talking about public art and the doors and how this is a benefit to the community. And was it that? Or was it the one that you present? There were two meetings that she was talking about it, and the other one might have been the one was it planning or zoning or something? Which one did you speak at, Suzanne? You did a presentation.
Yes, it was at the the revitalization, the downtown revitalization. What's it
Yes.
called?
Master plan.
Yes, implementation committee.
Yep. And they did not have a lot of questions. And I think they don't have power. They don't know exactly what they're going to do, but they're coming up with some really great ideas, and it fit really well. But then they moved on to the next agenda item. So it wasn't permission or authorization, or it wasn't anything, but the idea is out there. And the more times we keep that going out in public, it gets the cultural council name out there, it gets the projects out there, and just more visibility. So
Okay.
I took it because I was recording for NCAT that night that it was well received.
Yeah.
So it was a positive. That's what I saw. It wasn't it wasn't anything more than that. Just it was a
Okay.
positive thing. So Culture Fest is the next item on the agenda. I think we had already come up with a date of the 18th of June. Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Approximately.
That's what I put in the application for our grant. So that's
And-
submitted.
Okay, and Lori, do you have any sense because I was looking through when the date that they would decide on, that the state would decide on something like that?
Oh, I have to check on that. There was a date, yeah.
There was a date? Okay, I missed it then.
There is. I can tell you.
Would they contact me or
Yeah,
you,
the date-
Lori?
Probably Lori, whoever submitted, right?
They would
So-
contact you, Terry. You are the project manager or something.
So
Okay.
the notification date is March 18th.
Okay. I will keep an eye out because I realize that some stuff from MCC goes into my junk box. It looks like it's a mass mailing
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
I'm it's a losing game for me. Okay,
So any ideas for that? Because that's June. That's like
that's June.
3-4 months away. We should talk a little bit about format and where and what. Same old, or something different.
Okay, so to bring Janine up to speed, what was being done is on the front yard of the church that's on Church Street and Howard with the big red doors. There's a beautiful lawn there. And it is sloped, but people kind of sit with their chairs, and performers have their backs to the street, and there's a stage and a canopy. So when it's hot, and June 18th won't be that hot yet, won't be blistering.
Where's the stage?
It's in the grass.
It is.
Well, it's not there now, clearly.
Okay.
But, it's
Okay.
set up in canopy. And then like I normally would be working for NCAT covering this. And then I've seen
Okay.
Craig walk up there and he makes an announcement, makes, the transition between the acts, and next we have, round of applause for, and people
Okay.
are sitting under the trees with their chairs. So it's actually really comfortable. In the past, I've seen some food offerings. I don't know what the rules are going to be. It's too
Food
soon
trucks
to tell.
or something.
Yes, it was food
Food
trucks.
So, if we can do something like that, I think that was really nice. I don't want to, given that we have all this public art and things going on as well, I really want to be careful. I love the skinny version of the reception. If we can take some of those, like a banner or some things that we can recycle and bring into this Culture Fest, that would be great. Whether it's, and I don't know if what happened before? Did you reach out to the school to get students to participate, or how was that
Yes.
done?
Yeah, my son recruited his friends, and I recruited my son. So that's how we got all
And
the
my daughter,
volunteers.
and yeah.
Yeah, right. All of our children, and then their friends.
Okay,
And we got them T-shirts. So everybody got a T-shirt for volunteering.
wow,
That they
that's
wore that
nice.
day. That's how we all showed up in uniform with our blue purple T-shirt, which is wonderful. Yeah,
Oh.
we gotta get you guys those for real. I think you borrowed last time, so Yeah.
So how
So,
did you recruit your acts? How did
yeah,
you
we had
recruit
talked
the-
about it, and then we cold called them. I mean, we know them from some of their own activities here in town, so we may have heard of them through then, or just personal knowledge of, oh, I know this group, I've seen them before, so then we reach out. We try to keep it.
And we picked them if they were cheap or free,
Yes,
because we couldn't afford to pay.
we should do it for free, or $100 or $200. True.
Is that what it is? Cheap or free? So we're looking for cheap or free?
Yes.
No, Craig is shaking his head no. Why? So he's in disbelief or what?
I would add that there's multiple channels. There was the musician channel, there was the artistic channel, and then there was the dance, if you will. There was a lot of personal contacts in the dance world. We went that way. Similar, I think, in some of the visual artists, although Selby, Suzanne, Leslie did network in the visual artists. And then on the musicians channel, there are grapevines, there are different places where musicians tune in to understand, what's going on. And it was kind of bringing it together from both ends, trying to find out of all of the mediums, who's available, and then also politely kind of triangulating, hey, here's how much, we're able to pay. Do you still want to participate?
Mhm.
And the reason I wanted to jump in here is just as a data point for professional musicians, they can make their standard fare is $750 and on up for one set and more. We've had a lot of discussions in the past years. If you are a retail artist, as in, visual medium, will you sell your art? So there's a lot of business perspectives that have to come into this that we have to work through. The wonderful thing is many things are possible. There's a wonderful community of artists in all mediums around here that like to participate. And it's just about us doing the legwork to get the word out, to put out a call for artists, as Suzanne says, and then work it.
Okay. Okay, I get this now a little bit better. All right, so I think we should keep this item on each month's agenda. I will be able to hopefully have some feedback from the reps to keep that moving for the reception, and then to keep the conversation going about the art. I think having a culture fest, I still feel strongly that this is doable. And if it's outside, then there's hopefully more of a draw with any concerns on COVID. And I
And
just
if it
don't.
rains,
And if it rains, then I don't know. Do we
Do
have a
people
rain
come?
date? What
Haven't-
did you do before?
We had tents, but we had 2 beautiful days.
Yeah, we
They
never
were
had any.
gorgeous
Yeah.
days.
But
Never had-
the plan was just to cancel if we didn't have good
Uh-huh.
weather. We would just
I
cancel.
think we
wouldn't
had
have rain day.
wasn't one year we had or move to the next weekend or something, or move inside the church. We talked about that, but I don't
No,
know.
because we are part of the Apple Fest, and Apple Fest does not have a rain date, so we didn't have either. We were just
And my recollection was we had to put in the contract that if we cancel, they will not be paid, no rain date.
uh-huh.
And we had to work through that.
Mm-hmm. I noticed
right.
that there's a tent on the side, or there often is a tent on the side of the church there. I don't know what they use that for.
So something else, long pole in the tent, since we're talking about tents, to use the
Yeah.
metaphor, the church is wonderful as a location. I don't know if we even want to consider soccer park, McAfee Ellsworth as a potential venue,
Yeah.
or the town common. And the reason I bring this up is if we're starting to try and conceptually partner with the town on these strategic kind of activities, health and wellness, this can be a good opportunity early to bring up, hey, what about the common?
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the common is preferable, frankly, because everybody sees it when they drive through town. You don't
Mhm.
necessarily see the church, and the slope of well, whatever. I think the common,
Yeah.
I agree.
consolidating everything so it starts happening on the common. The common is a
Yep.
really new thing still. I think it'd be great to use it.
Yeah, bring your
Not use
lawn
it.
chair, come join us.
Plus, it's a smaller venue, so it actually is more attractive because then the same number of people come, but it looks really crowded. As opposed to you go out to McAfee Park and it's like, there's like 10 people there, but no, it's really the same 100 people, but it looks very small.
You're
for
right.
the common. We would have to consider the fact that we will not have any available chairs, tables, or restrooms. That
Yeah,
will be an issue, which we would have at the church, at least for us,
Uh-huh.
the
yeah,
and performers and team. Yeah,
The chairs are borrowed from the church.
yes, the
yeah,
tables.
they will give us. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But if we do a skinny version, then we don't have to have all of that stuff. I think we provided that for the artists. So artists would have to come with their own tent and table and chair. But we would give them the tables, the chairs, so they didn't have to lug all that. And then we had our own table with our brochures and stuff. So we'll have one table. But we also had it for, I think both years we had some food of our own too. So we just won't do any of ourselves. So if we each individually do not have a table to contribute, that would limit us.
I'm compelled to offer up chicken and an egg. Where there's money, you can have whatever you want. So it's wonderful if a grant comes through, it's wonderful if this is a collaborative effort with health and wellness of Northborough. But there are companies out there that would be delighted to bring you tables and bring us chairs and set up a stage if we could pay their
And
fee.
the park, the Asbeth Park has a porta potty, right, which is very accessible from the common.
Assabet has porta potties and it has the gazebo
Okay.
as a stage.
Hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, lots of options then.
Okay, so this is all stuff we're gonna have to start sifting through,
Hmm.
and it feels like a moving target still with COVID, but I feel more positive that with the nicer weather coming and being outside, that will allow us the space that we need. And it won't rain. It will not rain.
Right.
Are we okay to move on? Does anybody have anything else? Because we covered a lot tonight. This is really good. I had so many question marks.
And one thing, so it relates to the Culture Fest.
Mhm.
How do we get these volunteers to actually engage? They tell us they're interested. There's like a dozen of them, and then you don't hear from anybody but one person who we know is interested in any kind of Culture Fest discussion. So we can invite her to the next meeting. But I've been sending out the emails and texting them. I'm like, okay, I don't want to bug them because it feels like we're bugging them.
I think
But-
it's better to reach out when we have some jobs to
Yes,
Yeah.
delegate. I think people
tangible.
feel better about saying, yeah, I can do this or I cannot do this. If it's very vague, they don't have time.
Yeah.
They're
Okay, I'm channeling
reluctant.
Selvi. And Selvi would probably say, hey, we're gonna do this. This is what she did to me. Hey, you want to join us? Who's us? And what are you doing? And so yeah, we do this and it's fun. And so I'm happy to do some of that too. And Laura, you're absolutely right. When there's something to do, something tangible, hey, you mentioned this. Do you happen to know this person? And
We need someone to do X. Yeah.
yes, and yes,
Yeah, we
I
They
think
will
that's
say
the way to
yes if
go.
you give them a concrete task, and then
Yes.
they'll say, oh, I'm building a mountain. I have to say no. Oh, I'm building a
Love it.
sandbox. I can say yes.
I thought they wanted to input to the Culture Fest itself, like the
That would be
format,
nice.
people. That's
Love
that's
it.
what they came from. Some of them were like, I want to build this thing with you, So it didn't feel like, okay, just tell me what to do. That is more of like, I've already been there, done that, so I'm just waiting for you to tell me. They don't know how it runs, so how can they just,
They don't know. They
Right.
don't-
So you can't just say, we have this, could you do it? They'll be like, what? So you have to involve them in the discussion so they get a sense of what is happening. It's almost like, what you just did with Janine. You gave her an overview as to like how things, were before. So they know how it evolves. And then we have input. So we just talked about town common. Maybe this is where they get excited. And they're like, oh, how about this park and that park? And, if they're part of the discussion, I guarantee you after one meeting, they'll come back for the second, third. It's getting them to that first meeting. So maybe, one more time, I can do it again. Email goes out and says,
Maybe a
we're
suggestion.
planning Culture Fest.
How about a
Specifically,
suggestion? And somewhere in between the 2 points to say, we need 2 people to come help us do the musical selections and engage with the musical artists at the Culture Fest. Would you want to
Speak
do
with
that?
them.
We need
Yes.
someone to help us reach
we
out
can
to the
bulletize the
towns.
available tasks that they can contribute to. Not
Give
tasks,
it to it like an area. We need someone to help us curate the artwork, reach out to the towns, and be the group that collects and curates the artwork.
Mhm.
And then
it's
I
all
think they could say
fun.
yes to that. Maybe if you just give it that next level of broken in your
something in the
email,
middle. You're right.
and they'll say, we need someone to go out and get artists to, the music, you know what I'm trying to say.
Right. So they have some like decision making in there too, and some creativity that, if you say, hey, we need to find dancers, like, anybody aware of dance troupes or groups out there, and,
Yeah.
that way they can say, oh, well, I know.
Or we
'cause
need
my
people
daughter,
to join, 2 other culture members to do the art. We need other
Yes.
people to come. Will you be part? And that means collecting and curating the art part.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
And
love
they
it.
can say, oh yeah, I
Mhm.
love
Display of
going
my
out
art.
and talking to musicians or curating
Right.
art or whatever the heck.
Right.
Okay, everyone, your
may
marching
help.
orders are to now go
Thank
and
you.
enjoy the evening.
Lori, I have a request for you. Can you not have that plant in your picture? You know what? In the picture of yourself, because in my peripheral vision, it looks like you've raised your hand, and I keep looking over it. You said, "Oh, it's a plant," and then I keep seeing it again. And I said, "Oh my God, it's the plant!" You know. I'm just teasing you. I really don't care. You know.
Hilarious.
I'm gonna bring our cactuses next time, Janine.
But it's really strange in my peripheral vision. It kept looking like a hand. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Janine,
What?
that's still way better than when Bic what sounded like she was copying her stuff.
double,
It sounded
like-
like she was in a tunnel.
I was in stereo. I was coming across twice.
Yeah.
Thank
It
you
was.
guys.
It was. I am saying this every single. Yeah. It was like.
Okay, so
I
now,
motion
do
that we
have a
close
motion?
this meeting.
All right. Goodbye.
Wait,
Okay. And Lori, so first Suzanne, second Lori. So going roll call. Bic,
Yes.
Yes.
Suzanne,
All right.
Yes.
Janine,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Craig, and I unanimous. So we end
Craig
at
says
8 o'clock.
no. He's
Oh,
gonna stay
Craig.
on all by himself. All right.